channel. It's been a little while. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for stopping in. And if you are a returning listener, of course, thanks for staying tuned in. I'm just doing a pick-a-pile today for everyone's readings because I've been extremely busy in my personal life. There's been so much change, so much shift going on right now. So it wants me to focus on these black crystals. I have Shungite, gold sheen obsidian, black obsidian. Notice I also have foxes in here with my obsidian. The fox is one of my main spirit guides outside of the spider. Obviously I'm Sapphire Spider Oracle, but foxes are extremely personal spirit guides for me. And so this is essentially calling in your own spirit guides. We're inviting our angels, ancestors, and just spirit team in general in right now. And our focus for this pick-a-pile is, what do you most need to know right now? Like, what's the most important thing you need to know that spirit needs to talk to you about? Or rather, what's the most important thing for you to focus on at this time? Because if you're like me, you've got a lot of things kind of flying at you, and you got a lot of things to focus on. So we're grounding, we're gaining clarity. We have piles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spirit was throwing the number 5 at me all day today. It was definitely referencing this 5-pointed star. So that's why we are, I'm personally resonating with the number 5. That's why we've got 5 piles today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please take a moment to decide which pile you resonate with. I've got the timestamps below in the video description, and I'll see you guys here for your pile in just a moment. Thanks. Hello, pile 1. Thanks for stopping by. If you chose this pile, then you're probably resonating with the number 1 at this time. And 1, it just gave me the song. It was just saying, 1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. 2 can be as lonely as 1. So there's that message coming through. But what I wanted, but actually, like, as I was sitting your pile here, it started with life path numbers. Life path number of 1. And I actually have the life path number of 1. And it's really not a surprise because I'm actually an only child. And so 1 is a number that it can be about, like, kind of consolidating down to a number 1. It's kind of what it's giving me right now, like consolidating, like it all comes down to 1, right? 1 is the base unit besides 0. And so it's kind of one of those things where you might feel very independent at this time. You might feel very much independent in either kind of those positive ways or possibly being very much on your own at this time. Is a message coming through. It's kind of, it doesn't want me to commit either way to as far as like, is this, what's the full message of this pile yet? But there's a lot of implications with the number 1. 1 is always the number of potential. So if you're standing alone, just know that you alone have the potential to do things. And if you're not alone, if you're just resonating with the number 1, then it's saying like you are in a time of potential right now. So I've asked for the feminine and masculine energies to come in. We have Mother Gaia stepping in with this first card. Very much just, I'm not going to read the whole back at this time, but very much about understanding that all things return to the earth, literally. That dark black color that's coming through today is, think of like the most fertile soil you could possibly think of, right? On earth, or we think of like topsoil, and it's almost that rich, deep black. Why is it black? Because it is so rich in nutrients. How did those nutrients get there? Death and decay. And so that's what really comes through with Mother Gaia energy, is just understanding that sometimes the only way to become fertile in your projects and your potential in your life in general is to allow some things to rot and decay, because in doing so, that energy returns to the earth and allows for new plants in life to be reborn. And the same thing goes for your energy. When you let certain things die, when you let certain things fall away in your life and decay, the lessons and things that you learn from that is what enriches you. You are the soil. You are that Mother Gaia energy too. You come from Mother Gaia. So it's all just a really big cycle about returning to the earth. Very much that grounding message coming in for you guys. Like, let some things just return to the earth. Like, let it, it just said, let it bleed into the earth. Because like the soil is going to absorb that. Look, there's another fox right here. There's a baby, there's a deer, there's a hawk, or there's like all kinds of stuff. There's a stairway. There is a lot, there's a bear here. A lot of symbolism coming in. This Mother Gaia energy is very much letting you know that nothing is ever lost or gained in the universe, that like it all returns back to earth. For the masculine energy that's guiding you right now, we have this bird symbolism, bird card, soul, divinity, liberation, creativity, and rebirth. Winged creatures are powerful symbols in many cultures around the globe, often representing deities of other supernatural beings. Through flight, birds symbolize liberation and link the upper world, spiritual, and lower earthly worlds. The Egyptian gods originated as birds, retaining part of their original anatomy as they evolved into humans. The Egyptian soul is represented as a bird with a human head. In Hindu cosmology, birds represent higher levels of being. In this painting, young men shall have their visions. A multitude of birds denotes wisdom and the connection between the earthly and spiritual realms. Ooh, thank you, Pile 1. It just said Mother Earth and Father Sky. Pile 1. That's okay. It just said getting back to basics. Understanding that no matter what religion or belief system you go through, there is a general concept of gender and how it operates in the universe. I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about energy. The most basic principle through many, many belief systems is that Mother Earth is like earth, or mother is earth energy, right? It gives birth to things. And Father Sky or Father Time or like things like that usually has to do with either the ocean and the sky or both. Both of those energies come back to nurture and therefore kind of help fulfill Mother Gaia type deal. It's just, there's a beautiful connection here of Mother Earth, Father Time, Mother Earth, Father Sky energy. Just cosmic parents right here is kind of what it's saying. Like cosmic parents are here to give you Pile 1 some information. Nice. And that's the whole thing is what do you most need to know right now? It's like your mother and father are here in this reading right now to both anchor you and show you the higher realms. It keeps showing me like, it's not just two, it's like showing me like that span between the earth plane and the upper sky and how these energies connected. So it's just saying like they're both here, the higher and the lower. It's not just energies or vibrations, earthly and spirit realms, higher self and earthly self, all that stuff is here in this reading. So what do you most need to know right now? What is most important for you to know at this time, Pile 1? When I flip this card over, let me make sure you guys can see that. This is a Page of Pentacles. When I flipped it over, it said it's here. Like this person pulled back the curtain and announced to somebody sitting inside this tent, it's here. And with this being a pentacle, it's a physical object or event or something like that. It's here. It's not just some make-believe stuff. It is literally kind of like a delivery, almost in a sense. A page is definitely a messenger, but they can also kind of be a delivery person. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's here, is what it was saying. Almost like someone dropped something off outside this tent and this person has to come in and let you know like, hey, it's here. So you could have a delivery of some kind, like literally a package coming in. It does feel a little more serious than that at this time in this card. Like, it's not like so much like, yay, it's here. But it is kind of at the same time like a gift. It feels like somber energy. It's not like you're not excited about this. It's just like, it's kind of serious right now, at least in my little world. I mean, that's why there's so much black here today. It's for that grounding and things like that. And so it's just kind of like, times might be a little dark. You might be huddling up in a tent or something, and someone gets to sweep in and tell you it's here. Something that you've been waiting on coming in. Every time I pull this specific Two of Pentacles, it always gives me the Wizard of Oz, that kind of mean lady that was wanting to steal Toto and is therefore represented by the Wicked Witch of the West later, like her bike and the pedals. Nice. Okay. It's literally, okay, with this card, it's literally showing me that scene from Wizard of Oz where it's still kind of black and white. You're about to transition into the color spectrum, though, when it comes to that part. And it's like, it's literally the part where the tornado's coming by, and it's like Dorothy's knocked out and asleep, so she sees all the people like flying through the sky in the tornado. I said, you're in the middle of an awakening. And that's the whole thing, is like, there's a lot of color missing from these two cards in general right now. I mean, it's kind of this like somber sepia tone, kind of old school. Ooh, and I had a dream with some of that in there, like sepia tone stuff, tea stains. Like, there's something about that kind of antique-y brown color coming through right now for you guys, Pile One. But what this is, an infinity symbol that's here as the chain on this bike. So it's always talking about, like, if it is dark right now, if it feels black and white, like, you're gonna get into that color, but it really feels like your ancestors are coming through. That's what I said, like that Mother Earth, Father Sky energy, Mother Father energy, major ancestor energy, and with this kind of antique-y feel that's coming through these cards today, it's literally like some old black and white sepia tone photos are like talking to you right now. So that's what I mean. This is for sure like some ancestors. With this Two of Pentacles, it said you're in the middle of an awakening right now. Look at this like sun flare kind of peeking through the clouds, but you just have to keep on pedaling. And it's literally like, with this purple, it's bringing up the crown chakra, and it's showing me this. Number one, it's saying like you're very mentally strong, and this is a pentacle suit too. So this is talking about everything you're having to deal with in the real world. This water very much feels like emotions, like you are literally pedaling across it. And the good news is you're making it across. And that's part of the message that's coming through. And thank you, Spirit. It said part of the message is like, you're going to make it, you are making it. It's kind of one of those lessons of like, or one of the phrases of like, don't look down, because then you kind of mess things up, right? Like you like literally have to keep pedaling, otherwise you'll start sinking. And that's how your real world kind of feels right now down here on this earthly plane. Like you were just pedaling and managing some stuff. Feels like some finances and serious things. You're going to make it across, but it's also like there's a bunch of, it brought me back up to this card. And even though this line up here is like a mountainscape, right now it feels like the waves of the ocean, like a horizon line of the ocean. And notice how it's at eye level. What this is showing me that, yeah, like in the action space, in the real world, you are like up to your eyeballs and stuff is kind of what it's saying. Like you're up to your eyeballs and stuff. And your masculine energy, your action, like the present energy that you're putting out into the world is like very, very much like almost drowning. And you're keeping this really still face. That's where these birds are kind of like sheltering your crown too. And that's where it's saying internally, the feminine energy that's kind of pulling through right here is just fucking pedaling. And it wanted to say that. Like it's just pedaling. And it knows that it has to keep pedaling because otherwise it will sink too. And if both of these energies sink down, then it's going to be really hard. And that's where Mother Gaia really comes in, is like, and even if that did happen, like everything's got to return to the earth, right? So even if you sink down a little bit, just think of it more as like, not a burial, but like getting buried in that rich nutrient earth energy, and like almost like just being pampered, like letting your mom take care of you type deal. Like you just have to lay there while someone takes care of you. There's a lot of reassurance energy, but it's very much presenting to you that like your action energy, you're up to your eyeballs and stuff to do. Your feminine energy within is like pedaling its butt off. And this is all very much related to either abundance, money, home, or family. Things that are very much in that pentacle suit. Oh, it said you're gonna make it though, so what's in this third energy over here? Sorry, I'm just sitting with it. It's really interesting because it's kind of like the Swords energy is all about your mind and communication. This, especially this Eight of Swords, can be about like anxiety, feeling trapped, can't move, yet you're not really trapped, so you're just not seeing things quite the right way for you to get out of it. What it was just showing to me was almost like the energy of the Pentacles and the mind like swapped places. Almost like this should be a Pentacles card. And like with all of these little gears right here, there's some golden like kind of pentacle-y energy coming in. What it was saying is like both physically you might not feel like you're actually moving anywhere, and that's where this bicycle card's kind of like what, but it's like this is what I'm saying. It's like that's where I was saying like it's almost flip-flops. Like this is usually an internal energy card, your mind space and stuff, and this is usually an outer energy card. It's kind of saying like this is your outer energy more. Like you see how this white is pairing up here, so I'm saying like this is more of your outer energy. Could be very much due to like pandemic quarantine stuff or working from home. Like you can't move, you have to stay where you're at. There's things you need to do, but you have to stay there. And that's where it's like you're blindfolded and your hands are tied, but you're really just chilling and sitting. And if you just carefully get up and step out of this card, then you don't have to stay in this energy. But that's where it was saying like inwardly, it's like that's what I mean. You're very still on the outside is what it's telling me, but inwardly you're pedaling your ass off. What should be the outer energy is the inner energy, and what is the inner energy is actually the outer energy. Oh, nice. That's a nice message. Okay. Woo, yay. Okay, there goes pile one. It's saying that you need to flip-flop these because all this pedaling you're doing internally, maybe you're not doing anything outwardly yet because it just feels so frantic in here. Like that's what the whole thing, it feels so frantic. Like your energy is literally like swapped, like all over the place. And so the core message of this pile right here is like, you are going to make it. Do you see yourself getting across the water? Do you see yourself making it? You might not think you're moving very much. You might think you're frozen in place. You might think that you are miscombobulated and swapped up and switched up, but it's like the core right here is this Two of Pentacles, and you are balancing it very well. And there's also something coming to you. It's coming, it's here. Keep pedaling, you're doing fine, but also recognize that you need to take that pedaling out of your inner energy and apply it to your outer self. If you're not physically getting up and doing some of these things to take care of this business, like your mind is just running while you're sitting still, you need to kind of like swap these energies. Don't sit still anymore. You're not here. That's not how it needs to be. You need to swap those energies up, right? And that's the whole thing, is like, at the end it just kind of said something like, get out of there, right? Like if you swap those cards, it's like this person came in and said it's here, and this person, even though they can't see, they can speak, and they're like, oh, thank you, right? And it's like they finally get to kind of get out of that energy, hop on that bike and get out of that energy space, right? Woo. But it keeps saying like you're gonna make it. Like you're making more progress than you think you're making is basically what it's saying right now. You're making more progress than you think you're making. You just can't see it. And that's the whole thing, is you can't see it. You're not supposed to see it right now because you're working through the cycle. So swap your energies around is the main core message for you guys. That's what I got for you, pile one. Let me know how that resonates. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Hello, pile two. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. chose this pile, you're resonating with the number 2 at this time. So let's just get started. So I've chosen a feminine and a masculine energy to kind of come in and speak to us right off the bat and just kind of let you know some messages. And then you have 4 cards in your pile, pile 2. So let's just get started. Your feminine energy that's coming through is the Valkyrie. I've been studying a lot of Norse mythology lately, and I love, there's a lot of, it was really beautiful. So I've been reading the Poetic Edda, and in one of the footnotes in the Poetic Edda, it was talking about how Valkyries are actually related to Swan Lady symbolism, like Swan Lake and stuff like that. There's all kinds of myths and stories about and there's even a Japanese tale like the Crane Wife. There's all kinds of stories about a woman who's actually like a swan or a crane or a magnificent bird. And that version of the story is out. Okay, so this is where it's taking me right now. That version of those stories is always like a man or a husband or something finds her feathers, finds her skin, hides it from her so that she can never leave. And then she like slowly collects her feathers back or finds her skin again and then gets to leave. Or then you have like Swan Lake, right? Where there's like the good sister and the bad sister, the black swan and the white swan, bad swan and everything like that, right? It's just there's a lot of transformation energy, and there's a lot of symbolism about women that come through with birds. Now, Valkyrie is chosen to be the chooser of the slain. They specifically search the battlefields for like the best warriors to take to, and it's not, and I actually learned this the other day, it's not just Valhalla for Odin. Freya, the goddess Freya, actually has a hall as well, and some of the Valkyries take the spirits to her hall. So it's not just Odin that has a hall for the best soldiers and souls. It is also the goddess Freya. And so that's the energy that's coming through. And she's been like around the past couple of days. Like Freya energy has been here. Some really beautiful Valkyrie energy. I personally really connect to a lot of Valkyrie energy. It's just really cool. Ooh. It just brought me the Tom Cruise movie Valkyrie, which is a whole operation about how to kill Hitler, like one of his own, sneaking into the bunker and dropping a bomb off and things like that, right? So it was, that's what I'm saying. And he dies in the movies where it's like, there's something here about that choosing the slain. The most honorable is kind of what it's bringing up. Someone who is wow, this is a complicated pile. It's talking about someone who, in the eyes of the law at that time, Hitler's regime, is doing something wrong, right? Treason. But from the outside looking in, obviously that situation was like probably a good thing if you could probably take him out, right? So that's where it's just saying like, it's just saying it's complicated. It's complicated is what it's saying. It's complicated. There's pros and cons to both sides of wars, battles, personal things going on. And there's what looks wrong isn't always wrong, and what looks right isn't always right, right? That's kind of what's coming through. And that's where this feminine energy is like, you are the chooser of the slain. You are the chooser of what is right, what's wrong, what gets to go where, what gets to ascend, and what has to stay, and things like that. The masculine energy that's coming in with all these other beautiful animals here is Pan. It's animal deities is the card. It's just talking about like this is a council of animals. Nice. And it's talking about Pan and how he plays the flute, and that's what gets all the animals to come. But it's very much talking about that council of animals. And since this is the card I asked to be specifically the card I asked to specifically be masculine energy, it's like you have a council around you. And tying back to this, it's saying it's like the council of your fallen soldiers that you've chosen, fallen ancestors, fallen spirits. I have like a whole, so just kind of like as a side note, like my whole family has a ton of veterans in it, and I very much I often like kind of call out to them and talk to them, and I literally, it's like I have my own little team of soldiers and stuff just based off of my own personal ancestors. And so it's kind of one of those things, like I call on them all the time, and I'll say like, all right, boys, what's going on? And I know that women can be there too, but it's like very specifically in my bloodline, a lot of men. So I'll say like, all right, boys, like, be my eyes, be my lookout, be my counsel. What's going on with this? What's up with this situation? What does this person truly intend? What did they mean? Because I can't always decide, and that's just energy right here. It's saying that you have a counsel to call upon. You are the chooser, and you have to make the decision. You have to transform. Sometimes you have to be the one that slays, and sometimes you have to be the one that is empathetic and healing and, you know, things like that. But it's like you have a whole counsel to call upon. That's one main message coming through. Let's dive in, pile 2. It wants all the cards at once for you guys. It just presented these cards to me as if these are 4 individual people from your council team. Pile 2. It said mother, father, sister, brother. Kind of starting with this one, actually. For some reason it said 3rd time's the charm. This is a 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands literally can be some enterprise. It's like he can be a merchant type deal, and these are his ships coming in with his goods, and he's been keeping an eye out on it. Got the beacons waiting to hail them in. Look, and that's what I was saying, hail. Hail is one of the runes from Norse mythology. There's a lot of Norse mythology coming through right here in this pile. Helagaz, I believe, is how you pronounce the actual rune name, but it represents hail, as in like hailstorm. But I also see that also as like hailing someone, right? And I was kind of talking about like Hitler and stuff, like we know all about hailing something. So it said 3rd time's the charm. 3 times is the charm. So you've obviously been working on something, repeating things. 3rd time is the charm. So it's kind of one of those things like, what's your 3rd time? What does this represent for you? For this being Wands, this could be career, and it could be very much passion, especially with it saying like, it's like waiting on those ships to come in. I was talking about kind of a merchant. It definitely feels like something that's like a project, like a business adventure, something you've been waiting on. So this came in as father. So the father energy here is saying the 3rd time's the charm. 3rd time's the charm. And the reason why it's saying that too is 3 can be a very powerful number. Something just kind of like, it's almost like something pressed on my forehead right above my right eyebrow right there. And then also it was like something touched me on my left ribs, like right under my arm. Like literally like right here. And if he had his hand up, kind of like looking out at sea, it was kind of like that too. Something just said like, why are we doing this? And it was this one. It was the sister energy. Why are we doing this? This Page of Cups. My right elbow is hurting right here, like as if I'm holding this glass and I've been standing here with it for a really long time. And that's kind of the energy it's bringing. I always get that off of this Page of Cups. Let me tell you about this deck. This Page of Cups right here is such a fuddy-duddy. Like, and that's part of the sister energy coming in here. It's like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? It's like being at the party, but like literally not really enjoying yourself. And it's so not a usual Page of Cups message. Page of Cups message is usually there to be your friend and stuff, but that's where this, okay, woo, thank you. Man, this sister energy right here just came in, and it said, it was just giving me the message of how sometimes your mean friends are the ones that love you the most, because they're the realist with you. And that's what this whole energy vibe is right here with this Page of Cups. They are your friend. They are being real with you, but they're asking you, why are we doing this? Why are we here? Why are we standing around? Why are we doing this? Like, I want to drink this wine. I want to go. I want to, you know, why are we doing this? So, okay. Hang on, it's still very scattered. There's some, that's what I mean. This is why you have a council around you piled too, because it's like there's so many different little like messages coming through, and it's like it's important to take in all the messages from your council. But look at that really strong figure there, right? Like, you are the one that chooses. You're the Valkyrie, chooser of the slain. You are the chooser. So Father energy says, third time's the charm. Sister energy says, why are we doing this? Mother energy says, we will tackle this. And that's where this is some very sharp mama energy coming in here. And I've gotten some mom energy off of this Knight of Swords before. Very much some Joan of Arc energy that I kind of relate with that. Man, she was around a lot here recently too. But this energy, like, they're ready to pull this sword out, right? And like start in on whatever needs to happen, whether it's fighting, whether it's like cutting through obstacles, whether it's just spreading a message or the truth or something like that. Like, it's saying like, we're gonna tackle this, y'all. My right shin is not my calf, it's like the front of my shin is just over here like twitching. And that's what I mean. Like, Knight of Swords, they're usually on a horse. This one's got Zeppelin airships, and it's like, we're gonna tackle this. And this is very much a mom energy. So mom energy coming in to help you tackle stuff. Dad energy keeping a lookout, saying third time's the charm. Sister energy over here like, why are we doing this? I could totally be doing something else. And brother energy, it said the word oblivious, but that's because this brotherly energy is here to teach you how to focus on your own happiness in the real world. Notice too, woohoo, I just noticed that too. Swords, wands, cups, pentacles. You've got all the suits here. That's what I mean. You've got like the best counsel advice. So mom's like, let's tackle this. Dad's like, let's third time's the charm. We will say hello or hail when the ships come in, but we're just kind of chilling here. Sister energy is like, yo, there's other stuff that I could be doing. Like, I'm not having a great time right now. Why are we here? Brother energy is like, I'm having a great time, but like, I'm not even hardly paying attention to all of this because I'm focused on my happiness, which is these pentacles and the flowers and this greenhouse and stuff, right? And that last message coming through, man, I'm telling you, there is a pain in my rib cage on the left, like under my arm, right by the breast. Like, there is a sharp little pain right there. It's like something's like needling me. And that's where this brother energy is quiet, is part of it. And part of the message is saying like, I know it hurts. And that's where the pain in the ribs over here is coming from. And that's very close to your heart chakra, you know? It's a very hidden area of the body because your arm usually protects it. So it's like literally one of the more vulnerable spots of your body is that little pocket there of your rib cage under your arm. And it's just saying how like, it said, I know it hurts, But that's why you have to focus on other real world things that you can literally nurture and focus on to bring you happiness. Because, and I don't know if you just heard that. Wow, I don't know if you're going to hear that on the recording. Like, something just went off in my neighborhood, kind of like a gunshot or something like that. And that's what I was saying. It was like, I know it hurts, but you got to focus on the real world things. And this brother energy is quiet over here because it's trying to focus on the other things. But this brother energy is kind of hurting with you, pile 2. Whereas this sister energy is like I'm so not gonna like deal with this right now, or kind of deal. This brother energy might not be like the most vocal, the most active, the most present, but that is because they are very much nurturing themselves too, but they feel that pain with you. It's implying that this brother energy is actually way more empathic than this Page of Cups energy from the sister. The sister energy is very much like the tides come in and they go out, so just like whatever. And this one's like, nah, like I feel this. The dad energy over here is very much just it's that wands energy, it's that spirit, right? And then that mom energy is fierce over here. So this is your whole council. There's something that's hurting you. There's something you need to choose. You have a whole council at your disposal. It is a hard decision. It does really hurt. Focus on some things that are happy. Listen to your council. Let some people help you come in and tackle some things. If you're waiting on something, know that the third time is the charm. And it's specifically talking about hailing something. So as much as that is about solitude, that particular rune I was mentioning is about like solitude and some things, you know, hail, storm, blah, blah, blah. It's also very much about that perseverance through that solitude. Like third time is the charm. Sister energy just wants to keep it real with you because it's basically like the tides go in, the tides go out. This will all sort itself out. And the brother energy is just like, I feel you. I feel you. My advice is to find something happy for yourself. So, I got some beautiful messages right here. I want one more for you guys, though, pile 2, because I want to know what exactly this is kind of coming in about. What are we dealing with here? This 2 of Swords. Yeah, it said you're blocked and you're blind and you're doing it all perfectly, like a trapeze artist, someone that can just do it so well. It's just saying like you are blocked and you are blind, and that's why you're here trying to figure out this choice. And it said, but you're doing it so well, and like all these eyes are on you while you do this. So you might not be able to see what you're doing, but you're doing it so well, is what it's saying. So that's what I got for you guys. And I will see you again in just a few minutes. Pile 3 is up next. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted. That's why you're getting so distracted. You're blind and you can't see everything, but you're doing it well. Okay, pile 2. Pile 2. I'll see you guys in a moment. And hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you. Hello, pile 3. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. If you chose this pile, you're obviously resonating with the number 3 at this time. 3 is a great number. 3, of course, represents things about the Holy Trinity, just having spirit involved when you were trying to work on something. So 3, sorry, I was trying to kind of give me something. 3 is a good number when you are relying on spirit, collaborating with spirit, having spirit involved, where interesting that's happening with this pile right here. It's talking about the numerology. So like 1 is you, right? The initial potential, like the kindle that starts it. 2 is always the number of coming together, attraction. 2 forces and also opposites, right? 2 is the number of either opposites or 2 things coming together. 3 is that multiplication of 2 energies that came together to now create a third. So it's usually like a child energy. But that's where you have like the Holy Trinity, right? So it's very much that third energy of spirit being incarnate within your process, within your desires, within your initiatives. So with this pile, the feminine energy, you've actually got 2 women here on the cards, but specifically this was the card for the feminine energy that I invited in, and this is Queen Hera. And specifically with this card, it talks about how she was a queen before she was married to Zeus. So it's kind of one of those things like, kind of like this ain't her first rodeo type deal, right? Like she knows her worth. She's been through things before she even got married. She knows her worth on her own. Today, for the first time, it's really pointing out this eye over here with the tear. And it's kind of like floating in the back of her mind. And that's what I mean. It's like she's been through it. All of these eyes right here on this peacock. Of course, the peacock is associated with Hera. And this is actually a male peacock. So that's what it's also kind of bringing to me. It's like when Zeus fails her and disappoints her and hurts her, she has like an entourage of other men, possibly, is kind of what it's coming through. But it's also saying like she is just all these eyes. She has an entourage of other people, specifically kind of mentioning other masculine energies that can support her. And that's what I mean. It's like she knows she's a queen, whether Zeus is taking care of her at that time or not. She's a queen, and she knows that other people will follow her and listen to her and watch her and attend to her as well, because they know she's a queen too. Very self-empowering energy coming through with this Hera card. For the masculine energy that was coming in, this is actually the spider. Welcome to Sapphire Spider Oracle channel, right? So I love pulling this card. It was saying how, even though this is a woman, how it can be a little androgynous, kind of like based off of the features and everything, can be a little androgynous. The masculine energy is taking on this role of the spider, and therefore saying that, you know, of course, or it's more of that reminder of your own innate feminine energy, that what, like the webs we weave, the things we put out into the universe, therefore catch what we are trying to attract, right? Protection, aid, and wisdom. I'm going to read this card just because I want to see if there's something here. Spiders are found throughout the world and appear in the legends of nearly all peoples. They are frequently depicted as helpers, protectors, and creators. The Ojibwa people hang hoops of spider webs over their infants to protect them from harmful influences. That's where I was going to say something about like dream catcher. So there's some things here about like protection for sure coming through. Other Native American peoples, particularly those of the Southwest, associate the spider with a grandmother spirit who lives underground. The spider grandmother is a source of wisdom and a link to the underworld. She rises from her realm to offer advice, particularly before a dangerous and large undertaking. Ooh. The spider woman in this painting, draped in a thick robe of flowing hair and with a ghostly face, recalls the legends of the ancient grandmother. So that's where it's like this masculine energy is here for you too, what feels like before a big undertaking. It said personal undertaking. So there is something big coming your way. It's here to remind you of lessons that you've already learned and that things like you already know. And it's just backing up. So I mean, it's kind of like the entourage that's backing up this Hera energy that's like, you know, you're a queen. If kind of like if Zeus ain't cutting it, right? Spin your web. There's some big things coming your way. There's other eyes and ears and people following you type deal that respect you. Let's start with your cards. We wanted 3 cards for you guys. And of course, this pick pile is about what do you most need to know right now? Like, what is the most important thing for you to focus on and know at this time? Especially if you've got a large undertaking kind of coming your way. What's the most important thing for you to work on and know at this time? For some of you guys, it said marriage. For some of you guys, that's not this card. Wow, for the first time ever, it's pointing out the fruit down here in this basket and kind of coming out in the ground. There's like bananas, apples, and oranges. And it was talking about like comparing apples to oranges. And then there's like a banana in there too. So that's where it was kind of saying like when you're comparing fruits, and it really just brought me I just watched this movie a few weeks ago, but it was a good line. And it's just funny. It was from that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And that's what I was saying, like weddings, marriage, like there's some planning happening for you guys possibly here. But there's a beautiful line at the end of the movie at the wedding reception where the dad, he always says that his last name means orange in Greek. And then the family that they are all marrying into, he supposedly says that their last name translates to apple in Greek. And he was saying how the two families that are here at this wedding getting married, it's like, you know, there's a lot of differences between apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, we're all fruits. And that's kind of the punchline, right? And so that's the whole thing is, there's a lot of preparations and things and getting together. It doesn't always have to be marriage, but there's something definitely here about that unity energy that you usually see with that Four of Wands, and it's saying like comparing apples and oranges to bananas, but at the end of the day, we're all fruits, which is a joke to say like we're all a little crazy, right? So it's kind of like pick your poison, pick your madness. And if you're trying to compare apples to oranges or oranges to bananas and bananas to apples and blah, 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 at the end of the day, they're all types of fruit. So there's differences, but there is, of course, that main similarity. And so that's it's a beautiful message coming through there. Hera very much rules, you know, marriage and childbirth kind of energies type deal. Just because of the fact that that's her whole shebang. So just go to the next one. The Wheel of Fortune. I love this Wheel of Fortune too, because it has 3 different wheels inside. It's got a pentacle, it's got the zodiac wheel, and it's also got the 4 alchemical elements. So I was going to say, oh, and actually this is the zodiac wheel. This is the planetary wheel. So we have the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, Earth. I was looking at that one. Earth, Venus. And then we have Saturn, or Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Yeah, I was just look, I was like testing myself. And that's part of this. Okay. Woo, that was a nice card. It was saying there's some things here. You've been testing yourself. It's like, okay. Woo. There's, look at that number 3 coming through again, right? There's like these 3 inner wheels, gears, and then there's like the big one, right? And it's like all of these have to turn a certain way so that this turns. So there's a message here about some of that divine timing, like the universe, some of the gears and things have to turn for things to do what they need to do. It was really pointing out something to me here, Pile 3. It was pointing out, this is my sign, of course. This is Virgo, and opposite is Pisces. And I talk a lot in my readings about like paying attention to your sister sign because they're your opposite. They are your mirror reflection most of the time, and they teach you things. And I just realized that the Sagittarius and Gemini, which is very personal for me, are opposite on these wheels too. And it was just kind of pointing out to me like people and their zodiac signs in my life, and like where certain energies come into play and like how they line up. And that's what I'm talking about. This Wheel of Fortune right here is saying like some things just have to line up. But it's also talking about, it's talking about like all the astrological angles too, because there's conjunctions, there's oppositions, there's squares. When you have a square, it's when you have that 90-degree angle, and it can make for a very challenging energy. And that's kind of what it's bringing up right here too, is like, it's just pointing out the challenging energy. It's pointing out what energies can harmonize better. It's saying too, like, you know, like, don't pay attention to all the zodiac stuff out there about like, this sign goes best with this sign and this sign goes best with this sign and da, 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 da. It's not necessarily on that vein, but it is saying like, pay attention to this stuff, because the cosmos, and if you pay very much attention in the background of this card, I don't even know if you're gonna see it, there's like calculations over here, angles and lines and wavelengths. There's all kinds of like little codes and math, basically. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you've got to pay attention to some of these things, because it's saying like, you're smart enough to do that. Like, and you see what I'm saying? Like, look at this half circle, and I was talking about how things are like these angles, and what's the quarter angles, what's the diameter and stuff, like, there's all kinds of mathematical calculation, divine timing, like, it's very cosmic with that Wheel of Fortune. You are for sure like waiting on something. Not even waiting, it's saying like the events and things that you are either currently dealing with or will deal with soon, are orchestrated by the cosmos. And people don't believe in that stuff, but it is so true. Like, it's like freaking magnets and stuff. You know, people who have like pacemakers and stuff, they can't get around magnets because it'll mess up their stuff. Do they see how it's doing it? No. Can they feel it? Of course they can, if something happens to them with it. And so that's kind of what the message that's coming through is, like, you might not be able to see all the math, and you might not fully grasp the cosmos and how everything lines up in that mathematical, scientific way of how the universe works. Doesn't mean it's not working, right? There's some things coming together in union. There is some challenge energy here about comparing apples to oranges and da-da-da. At the end, it's saying we're all fruits, but it is also saying, like, pay attention to the details and the divine order of things, because everything is happening for a reason. Either because of the way you've woven the web, or because of the way that the cosmos is weaving the web. And either way, the most important thing is to figure out what to do with that. If you're weaving the web, is it coming out like you want? No, then change the way you're approaching things. If it's still not working out, maybe it's divine order type deal. If things are going your way, great. It's the Wheel of Fortune. It's divine order. It's supposed to be that way, right? Like, there's some stuff here in this pile. What's up with this third one? Six of Pentacles. Interesting. It said change, but this one's literally talking about like the change, the coin change here. There's books here. She's holding some coins. There's coins on the scale. And of course, the children here are both learning from the books, which is valuable knowledge. They also have their hands out for the coins, which is also value. They can therefore support themselves, get things that they want with the coins. And she has spare change because she's the adult, and therefore she's keeping some for herself, you know, like she's got some in her hand, but what she's balancing out with some of that money, she's also balancing out with wisdom. So this isn't someone that's just giving all of their money and energy away. They are bestowing gifts and balance on the other people who do in fact need it, who need their help. But she's also remembering, like, hey, I worked really hard for this, right? Like, these are my scales, these are my books. I'm letting you use them and borrow and learn from it, and I don't mind giving you some money and stuff, but like, the stuff is still mine, and you have to keep it balanced. And with this wheel and all these nice pentacles coming through, this feels very much, even in this Four of Wands, we have these circles. There's a lot of circular happening here. definitely about balance, but it's about that change, and it's talking about coin change, and it just kind of gave me the phrase like a penny saved is a penny earned. Being like wise with your money, because the wheel always turns, and you know that not always things are going to be favorable. There is that focus on like that challenge, kind of bringing things together and achieving this overall balance, very much in a real world way. Money, learning and wisdom and time, finances, family, like balancing all of these. And what I like about this Six of Pentacles is it does talk about the 3 in this particular deck, in this card. It's saying how almost like how, and I've got my other obsidian over here in my hand, almost how like she's the teacher, she gives, right? But then it's almost like these are her children or her students, and they have to give her something back in return. And then there's possibly that third energy floating out there, their friends, their family, something else, that these students here can then pass on that knowledge, that wisdom, maybe some of their change to others. It's kind of like that message of like paying it forward, but recognizing that it's not just about a give and take between two people, that like it always spills over into other areas, into other people's lives. And so it's not just about balancing two sides of a scale, it's about balancing energies kind of like all across the board. And that's where this Wheel of Fortune's coming in, and it's saying like things are being balanced all across the board. But if you're still stuck in that challenge energy, know that it's divinely orchestrated so that you can learn to balance these things. And whatever is not coming together for you, whatever is not in this union energy or working towards this union energy, maybe it has something to do with that divine timing. Maybe it's time to rebalance some things. Maybe there are other people who deserve your time and attention and energy. And this is where you have to really think about those things, is kind of what it's saying. But it's also saying like very much a surrender, that some things in the universe kind of happen. So choose to weave your web wisely. Choose to either support or walk away from things wisely. And these are very positive cards. So I do have to say that part of the message coming through here is about like focusing on those positive things, right? Like if you're constantly looking for something, waiting for the wheel to turn against your favor, well then that's all you're ever going to see. These are very positive cards. There's a big undertaking coming up. That challenge energy was very focused on, so I would say we need to kind of flip some things and turn it into more of like focusing on the positive things. And that's always easier said than done. So definitely wait on this wheel to come through and kind of reveal some things for you, is what I would say. And I think that'll help you balance your energies. That's what I got for you, pile 3. Let me know how that resonates. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye. Hello, pile 4. I hope you're doing fabulous. Fabulous 4. Fantastic 4. Ooh, it wants me to start out with that. Hell yeah. I was looking that up recently, all about the Fantastic Four and their certain superpowers. And that was something that just came through right here. I was definitely checking out like the Invisible Woman, Susan Storm, that's her name, and kind of like her whole storyline, and it was very interesting. So that's kind of coming out the gate for you. She has powers of invisibility that she can't always fully control. It's kind of, and then this whole thing, she has to learn how to control them and stuff like that. So first thing I want to start off with, number 1 for pile 4, is these 2 cards. And I want to point out the white specifically. This color is really coming through for you. And the reason why I say that is because this is White Shell Woman. This is the feminine energy that's coming through to assist you in this reading right now. And then this is specifically, it's the leopard, but it's talking about the snow leopard. So very much that white color is a very prominent, important thing right now. In some cultures, that's a wedding color. In some cultures, that is a mourning color for funerals. And then in some cultures, it's purity. Sometimes it's just higher spirit and things like that. It's not necessarily about race, of course. This is like a Native American woman. It's just white as a color. Snow. shells, white shells woman, like pearls, kind of things like that. That's a main color that's really coming through for you right now. So white shell woman or white bead woman, also called turquoise woman and abalone woman, is sometimes said to be a younger version of changing woman, which in Native American mythology, there's some tongue ties here in this pile too, I want to say. It's a woman that basically is like the triple goddess. She changes in between all these different forms to suit whatever situation she needs. And it says, white is the color of the dawn and the east. White shell woman, the creator and sustainer of life, created the Navajo people and sent them their home. As gifts, she gave them shells, which became corn and other food-bearing plants. She gave them the animals. She gave them the gifts of rain and beautiful flowers. With the sun, she is the mother of killer of enemies and child of the water, the dual protectors of the people from their enemies. The Navajo chant says, all things around me are restored in beauty. It is because of White Shell Woman that this is so, and it is because of her teachings that we can experience the exquisite harmony that comes from being alive on this beautiful earth. So it's talking about the color of the dawn in the east. East is where the sun rises, of course, so dawn. But also in a lot of cultures, we always say, like, when you look to the east, that's when the second coming we'll see Jesus or whatever figure you choose coming from the east. And it's kind of one of those things where that's where it kind of comes in with the whole funeral thing, like the color white as a last judgment color, as a purification color. And this is very much about, though, appreciating all the beauty that's currently around you. Little shells, flowers, food, like all these little things, because these are all gifts, right? Definitely gifts of the sun, gifts of this figure, the white shell woman. And so that's where it's just saying, like, very much all things are restored in beauty. So that's one of those focuses. With the masculine energy coming in to support it, you have the leopard. Leopards are phenomenal hunters, known for their stealth and ability to stalk prey. The snow leopard, which lives in the mountains of Central Asia, is among the more mysterious of the species and was believed to have drawn the blood of its human victims without eating the flesh. By feeding on the life force, which is blood, and avoiding weakness, which is flesh, the leopard was thought to maintain its strength and purity. It just brought me the line about being of the world but not in the world, and that's where it's like you have to really recognize that you are a spiritual being living in the earth plane, incarnate right now in flesh, and appreciate the beautiful things of life, the little things, right? The little blessings, but also recognize, like, don't get absorbed in those things because you are of spirit. Weakness is that flesh, not just sex and stuff, right? Think of all the, like, vanity, greed, gluttony, blah, blah, blah type deal. Like, take only the energy that you need. Live off of that pure spirit energy. Enjoy life for what it is and all the beautiful things, but don't get so wrapped up in it that you become greedy or materialistic in these things, because you are definitely from a higher spiritual plane, is what's coming through right now, number 4. So let's start with your 4 tarot cards. With this Ace of Wands, with this Ace of Wands, it gave me that song, I got the power. So that's always what an Ace of Wands kind of represents, though. You have the magic wand. You can make things grow, make things sprout. This is basically holly is what it looks like, even though the leaves don't necessarily look like holly. These little berries kind of remind me of holly. So I was reading up on holly lately, and the plant itself represents, like, protection, because the leaves kind of suck when you touch them, right? Like, they're like thorns. So but yet they also represent kind of like a beautiful harmony, because the red and the green are opposing colors, and therefore it's like, again, with the blood and earth and it like coming together type deal. But it was really bringing up these candles today for me, and that's where it was saying, like, you've got the power to appreciate and create some beautiful scenarios for yourself. That can be, it's kind of like enjoying the simpler things in life, such as candlelight, sitting by candlelight, using the small things and the senses to get your spirit energy stirred up, is basically what it's saying, like in a positive way, right? You have the power to set the tone of your space and your environment and what you want to put your energy into. And there's actually a really kind of romantic feeling coming through on this Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands can sometimes be about getting some. Like it's a wand, you know? So that's what I mean. It's like you have the power to set the tone for the environment and the space that you want, is what this is really coming through as. I want me to do this one next. Even though this is wine in the cup, it said don't cry over spilt milk. This Five of Cups did pop at me earlier when I was shuffling stuff and getting ready for these readings. Is very much focusing more on her energy today. The bartender, not so much this guy. So it's not so much about being in this emotion right here. It's very much about the empathy and the care, and it was saying strangers, that can come from strangers, because these cups are all knocked over and spilled. She's just there working. This guy that's sitting here at the bar is clearly upset and quite disheveled. And so it's kind of one of those things, like, as much as these spilled cups might bother her because she's going to have to clean them up, she's not focused on that at all right now. She's focused on him. And we don't even know what's in these two cups that she's holding. And that's very much like a love offer in a sense, right? She's bringing over two cups after he's spilled these two or three over here. And it's really pointing out this light beam today. There's a lot of stuff here. It's talking about the lights. It's talking about a lot of lights. It was saying how the light is almost like washing out the name liquor on this sign, and that's where it was just saying, like, there's some, you giving empathy and sympathy to others brings this light down that shines on this figure, on these people, on this person, and kind of washes these vices away a little bit. And that's where it's saying, that's where this energy, this masculine energy, the snow leopard's coming back in. And it's kind of saying, like, there's a strange little double message coming through right here. And it's also saying about how that, like, drink of the blood but not the flesh. It's like, support this person but don't get stuck in this energy, is kind of what the message is coming through as. You have the power to set the tone. So if a tone needs fixing, you can kind of reset some things. Your compassion shines light on others when they need it most. However, it's kind of giving me the fact that this person can, especially if someone is in that Five of Cups energy, y'all, like, they can suck you down so fast into that Five of Cups energy with them, just from listening to them, right? That energy gets attached to you. And that's where there's kind of this whole thing too about, like my ring finger just like kicked that black tourmaline. That's what I mean. It's like guarding your energy, protection. It's one thing to be empathetic and sympathetic. It's a whole nother thing to allow someone to leech the energy off of you, to spill your cups, right? She's working at the bar. She might have to pay for this. And that's kind of, there's a message coming through here about that, about other people possibly sucking your energy, but how important your light is too. So it's just really about that boundary, that difference of, like, right, eating the whole prey versus just cherishing the blood out of it. Really soaking up someone's down energy instead of just being that listening ear and that light. You have your own boundaries and things that you've got to take care of, and it's not right for other people to get you stuck in this energy too. Woo, this pinky is aching, y'all. That is a masculine energy coming through, I'm telling you. It is like, do not get stuck in this energy. You are of the world, or you're in the world, and but not of the world. You are a spirit here. Don't be so attached, and don't let other people attach themselves so much to you that they suck out your good energy, right? Mm. Sorry, I'm just sitting with this card. It's, of course, pointing out the dawn in here today. Like I said, it's very much focused on the light that's bouncing around in these cards right now. It's funny, this is definitely like London, but this dome right here reminds me of the state capital here in Georgia, in Atlanta, where I live. So there's a lot of that, which is what I was saying at the very beginning of my intro. Is like, I just finished work for this particular quarter at my day job, and we actually have a 10-week quarter. So this 10 of swords, there's something there. I mean, it's definitely like, it's that completion, that mental completion about like just being done. It's kind of tying back into this too. Now my left arm's hurting right here. Very, like, literally his arm is like out here, right? And it's like, that's the arm that he's got stuck with these swords. Like, it is hurting. And that's where it was saying like, this is always like the finish. It's done. The mental energy for sure with the swords, like, it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Completion. Mental energy, like, shut that shit off. It's done, right? That's kind of the energy coming through here, and that's it's kind of echoing this energy over here, and that's where it was just very much like there's like this conversation happening between the masculine and the feminine energy. It's like there's two people talking to you right now. The masculine's like, it's cool to be empathetic and sympathetic. Look at what your beautiful light does to people, right? It kind of washes out some of these vices, but you can get so easily sucked down into this energy. And the feminine's like, yeah, totally, right? Like, check this out. Remember how you were feeling like just yesterday or the other day? Like, that's done, but remember how it pinned you down, sucked the life out of you, drained the shit out of you, is kind of what it's just saying. And that's where it's like a 5 and a 10. There's like this double thing here. Sorry if that creeps someone out when I just pop my knuckles. But yeah, it's wanting you to recognize that you're being drained, or you have been drained, and it's very much in that mind space. But it also feels like it could be coming from the fact that you are over nurturing another source. But you have the power to kind of alternate this, and that's what I mean. There was that romantic feeling too, kind of here, just kind of soothing self-care, sitting by candlelight, like definitely some self-care stuff coming through here. It's this last one. When I flipped this over, it just kept saying, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. And it's talking about this heart, of course, because this particular heart is made out of gears, and there's swords stuck all through it. And when it was saying that, like, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's kind of like you're expecting this heart to turn on and change and start moving, but it can't because there's all these swords in here. And that's because the 3 of Swords is usually that heartbreak card. This comes through in a very, I don't necessarily want to say cold, but kind of a cold way, just in the sense that it's a mechanical heart. It always reminds me of the Tin Man and how he receives that little clock heart and everything, and it has to tick, and that's the whole reason why he's going to go see the wizard and everything. And sorry, I'm absorbing something for a second. Hang on, just Okay, a couple of different things. Number one, for some reason this fence back here that's kind of jagged and broken in the background of this card gave me the song, it's just bad, bad, Leroy Brown, meanest man in the whole dang town, meaner than old King Kong, meaner than a junkyard dog. And this is what I mean. So that's, okay, so that came through. There's so many different messages coming through here, but that's where, then the Archangel Raphael came through. He's very much about heart space healing, and that's where it was saying, like, you have the power to change this energy. White shell woman is bringing it to you. The feminine energy is bringing you this Ace of Wands by showing you, look at the small things. You have the power to change the energy in the room. That's, ooh, nice message coming through from, yes, I like that. I saw this message the other day too. It said, don't, something along the lines of like, don't accept the energy in the room, influence the energy in the room, right? And that's what this is talking about. And with this long wand, like an eye, influence the energy in the room. Why do you need to do that, is what it's saying. Because you have a very beautiful light and heart to share, but you've got to recognize something's not working. Something's not working. It is hurting you. It's breaking your heart. You are so done with this. Look at you. This outer energy is like sucking you down. That's what I mean. Like the way that the cards are, it's like sucking you down. There is a little fly on that pyramid right now, and that's what I mean. The fly is like the like white on rice, like flies on shit. Like this type of energy will suck you down so hard, and you can't keep that cycle up. Someone's very mean. Something's not working because it was very hurt overall. Something else or the same energy has you pinned down, and you're just tired, exhausted, dead, done inside. It feels like that energy is attaching itself to you, honestly, from this energy right over here. And it's coming out here on that masculine side. And that's what I mean. This masculine energy is pointing out this other figure here. This person is here. This person is also you. And this person right here is, they're that, I've been a bartender before, you guys. Like, it's like I connect with this figure. I connect with her so much because I've seen this figure so many times of the person, specifically a couple of guys that I used to know that would take care of the bar, that would just come to you and mope and weep and cry in their beer type deal. And as the bartender, you literally have to sit there and like kind of nurture them back to life. But you also can't get them like totally intoxicated and stuff, right? Like you got to be the sweet one that they need at that time, but you also can't get totally sucked down in this stuff. So the overall most important energy you need to know right now is you have the power to influence the energy in the room, in your space, in your life. And it starts with the small things like this beautiful light. And light is so powerful. Sunlight. Think about like seasonal depression, right? Like sunlight is so powerful. Candlelight is so powerful. Just light, whether it's white or otherwise, like light is very much coming through right now, saying light codes, like these are light codes coming to you right now. You carry light codes. Like, someone's a light worker in here, in this pile. But you're very much waking up to the light that you give off, the light that the universe shows to you, and the way you can use all of that, literally, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, to change the energies around you. You are in this world, you are not of the world, or of the world, not in it, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. And that's the whole deal. For you guys, it's very much pointing out this crystal quartz. And did you hear that ding on my kitsune crystal right there? That's what I'm saying, wisdom. Clear quartz might be what you need, or other similar clear or white crystals, because of the fact that clarity, and light. When you think of like prisms and how light passes through a prism and stuff like that, that might be very much what you actually need right now, pile form. So that's what I got for you guys. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Hello, pile 5. Hope you guys are doing fabulous. So if you chose this pile, then you are on probably the same wavelength as me at this moment, which is number 5 is coming through very strong today. It was very much talking about this 5-pointed star, the pinnacle or pentagram. And so let's get started. I have a feminine and masculine energy here for you guys. And then we've actually got 6 cards for you. I wasn't going to take 6, but it kept just saying 6. You wanted 6 cards. So 5 and then 6. Change and then progress and balance. Seems to be the general idea here. It wants me to get these like all in a row for you guys before I even start. Ooh, like really precise. Okay. So, this feminine energy that you have here is Rhiannon. Before I even start, of course, if you're into some of the more mystical, spiritual things, you probably know a lot about the song Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks, of course, is everyone's favorite white witch. So that was what essentially this whole song is about. And so, or not ideally, but it is a goddess. Rhiannon is the great goddess as worshipped by the Welsh. She's an embodiment of life, death, and rebirth, for in her realm there is no death without regeneration. Her name derives from Regentona, which means great queen. A shapeshifter, she can assume any form she wants. She often appears as a white horse. She is a muse goddess and is accompanied by 3 sweetly singing birds who can revive the dead or put the living to sleep. The source of the king's power derived from Rhiannon, the queen, and a candidate for kinghood would meet Rhiannon dressed as a stag, a regal figure symbolic of rejuvenation, beauty, strength, and instinctual masculine energy. In altar myth, she appears as Nimue or as Vivian, the Lady of the Lake. Rhiannon as a beautiful queen of the night, a reminder of the close balance between death and rebirth. She demands that we honor our instinctual and animal selves as a source of creativity, abundance, and order. And it did. It just gave me the lyrics from that song, and it said, Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and wouldn't you love to love her? She was alive like a bird in flight, and who would be her lover? The next verse says, she is like a cat in the dark, and then she is the darkness. So very much talking about the shape-shifting abilities, and it wants me to bring up that I have a black obsidian mirror. I featured it once here on this channel, I think on the Halloween tarot readings that I did. And the black obsidian mirror is there to help you reflect and do scrying, and I usually use it to kind of reveal something in my shadow self to myself. And it was interesting this last time around because it was like my reflection would fade in and out of the black obsidian mirror, and it was like I was gonna say, you can tell I'm extremely white, right? So it was like my skin was changing from white to black in the reflection of this black mirror. So it was like, and it was almost like my face was changing shapes sometimes too when I was looking at it. So there's very much this shape-shifting energy right here about just having to adapt form, whether it's light or dark, and things like that. There's a lot of that energy coming through. The masculine energy that's coming through is this bear card, and I pull this card like all the time. It's like my favorite. This card usually comes to me for masculine energy as representative of some Norse mythology, specifically the bear tribe of berserkers. Like my big toe on my right foot just popped when I said that. Was weird. This is specifically a woman wearing a bear suit, and she's the healer. And that's the whole thing is, but it says here, like, in Japan, bears were believed to be a mountain god. In India, bears prevent disease. The bear is the god of heaven, things like that. A spirit helper. And then in Norse mythology, they are some of the berserkers, the warriors of Odin, the chosen warriors of Odin. And then also that healer energy. So there's definitely some mystical vibes up in here, is what it's just kind of saying. You just said the word nurturing. It just had me close my eyes, and that's why I'm like doing this with my fingers. It's like, that's what I mean. There's some up in here, pile 6. This card is like kind of coming out here. Okay. So these are the energies accompanying you to evaluate this message. So let's just dive right into the cards. What do you most need to know right now? What is most important at this time for you to know right now? Two Cups. Can you see this in the video? Yeah, you can. I just gotta scoot it up a little bit. Literally chemistry, right? Literally chemistry happening. And that's exactly what this particular Two of Cups in this deck is about. There is chemistry taking place. And it was so funny because one of my students, the subject that I teach, or one of the subjects that I teach, is how to create their own brand, like their logos and how to represent themselves. And my student like literally made a brand with a yin yang symbol with this color scheme, like the blue and the orange. I literally just finished grading it earlier this morning. And they were a game design student, just to kind of throw it out there. And so that's what I mean. It's talking about like the artwork here on the card itself. Like an artist created this. It takes chemistry to create things, right? And that's where it takes two energies, male, female, action, inner thought, and effort. Or very much, of course, can be a love relationship, things like that. Just definitely chemistry right here. And it's all about that masculine and feminine, the yin yang, right? Some duality. I love how he's like looking at her and she's looking at the chemistry stuff. It's like she doesn't even know that he's watching her, that he's looking over at her. He's like paying more attention to her. It's like she knows exactly what's going on, literally here with the chemistry, but she can't see the chemistry happening between the two actual people. It's like, and that's where it's talking about the feminine and masculine difference. Like the feminine energy will always notice the inner things that are moving, like the energy, and the masculine is more about energy that is like literally in front of your face, like present, right? And that's where a lot of times where feminines and feminine energy can't see things happening out here in the real world in front of their eyes, like manifestation abilities that come with the Two of Cups a little bit. A masculine can see it, but maybe doesn't see what's happening energetically within all the time. And so there's very much this conversation here about that duality, about these two people kind of like doing and looking at the same thing, and that chemistry is taking place, but they're not actually seeing each other or seeing the exact same things at the exact same time. But regardless, there is chemistry, right? So she's not seeing it in reality. He's seeing it in reality, but isn't seeing necessarily all the inner stuff, and it's vice versa. So that's the first message that's coming through. That's the first thing you need to know, is what it's saying. Yeah. It was like freaking fireworks just went off when I flipped this card over. Like all this little purple electricity popping off of here, off of these wands and everything. It's like I just heard like the fireworks like going off, like little like pew, pew, and like little things like that. And you usually do that for celebrations. The Six of Wands is victory. I liked this description that I've seen before. The wand with the wreath represents hope crowned by desire. So hope crowned by desire. And these other people are presenting wands up here too to help kind of like get this energy going too, and to also share in the energy. Look at this electric energy coming through here right now. It just said it's contagious. It's contagious. And how funny that we're still dealing with like COVID and everything. But it's not talking about, it's talking about like that positive energy, the firework energy, the sparks, the chemistry. I wanted to say Hieroskamos, which is the sacred union of feminine and masculine energy, DNA strands. Like, that's what I mean. And people trying to get in on that energy because, like, why not, right? It's a celebration. It's happy. It's victorious. It's hope crowned by desire, and therefore success and fulfillment in that way, triumph. When I flipped this Ace of Pentacles over, it said, come here. It said, come here. Why? Because the universe has got a nice solid offer for you. This very much feels like a pocket watch. It just said time. But in a really solid way. Not just this like fleeting feeling of time. Whew, it was like 11:13 when I looked at the clock on there. Saying, come here. Like, as much as this hand is here as an offer, it's a gift. And with that pocket watch, that's what I mean. It's like literally time in your hands, like time. Like, you will have the time. And when it says come here, it implies that you need to go somewhere, visit someone, visit somewhere, do something, go through this gateway, right? Come here. Why? Because there's an offer for you. There's some time, is what it really feels like in this card, even though that's usually not a pentacle. Now, having time can help you achieve a pentacle, an Ace of Pentacle, because you can get some work done of some sort, right? But it's very much, I was talking about the 5 today, I was talking about that 5-pointed star. That is a symbol of Venus and a symbol of protection. That's why it's on everything. And so it's kind of one of those, but it's also, and that's where it's bringing up the Vitruvian Man. In the sketch of the man, you know, in that circle with his limbs and his head out, and that's what equals the 5-point star. Now, the number 5 is greatly about change, great change. And I honestly, here's the thing, the number 5 was my favorite number for like the longest time until I started doing tarot. And then a lot of 5s in tarot are a little rough because of the fact that they are the transformation card, they are the change energy card, and so they can usually represent like obstacles and hardship. But the number 5 is also extremely empowering when you think about that change message, because it represents the figure of man. 2 arms, 2 legs, the head equals that 5-pointed star, that Vitruvian Man. It's basically talking about how you are this pinnacle, you are this portal in which to create this change energy. So when you see things kind of not necessarily transforming in the way you want them to around you, like, you are literally the star, you are literally this power of change, you are your own solid protection, you are your own kind of like time outside of time magic, right? You can make things happen. But the message was very much about come here. There was a little bit that said, nah, you come here. But the reason why it said that is because this beautiful woman right here is a literal star. Look, I was talking about the star. This is the star card. And she's holding a star in her hand. Literally. Like a real star, right? And that's where there's kind of that message too about the earth plane versus the spiritual plane, outer world versus inner world. That's what I mean. This masculine energy, look at how the masculine's really, like, even over here, there's that orangey gold color kind of coming in, and the feminine's very much resonating with this blue color. And in this feminine energy, this is a major arcana card. So this is big healing, big change, big guide, a big path. It said, at first it said, no, you come here. And the reason why it said that is because there's a lot of healing that needs to take place. And it just gave me that song from, I don't even know all the lyrics to this song. I haven't heard it in quite a while, but there's a song from The Weeknd, one of his earlier albums, and it was called, like, We'll Find Our Love in the Sky. Of course, I have my playlist channel here on, or I have my playlist here on the channel now with any songs that come through the reading. So that was the song, We'll Find Our Love in the Sky. And that's what it's just talking about, like in spirit, like in the spirit, like higher self, higher realms. Like it said, there's a lot of beauty to dish out, is what it just said. There's a lot of beauty to dish out. And that's why it was saying, like, no, you come here. And it's not talking about like necessarily two people coming one place or another. This energy does feel like a physical real world, like you come here, right? This is like come here, like within, like, and that's what I was talking about, how these two can't fully like connect kind of deal. It's like, it's not that they can't fully connect, the chemistry is happening, it's just they're not literally looking at each other, or they're both not looking at the same thing. They're kind of looking at alternate things, and that's usually how the masculine and feminine energy goes. I like how what I feel is a more masculine card is this Ace of Pentacles came up under the feminine energy over here, and it's like, you come here, and then the masculine came up, or the feminine came up over here on that masculine side. I was like, no, you come here. That's what I mean. There's an invitation for both sides of this energy to cross over and enter each other's world, or spirit, your spiritual healing to come into the real world, and the things that are happening in the real world to come into the spirit world. Like there's definitely this beautiful like crisscross, it just said crisscross applesauce. There's like this beautiful DNA double helix thing. And when I said the Hieros Gamos, that is that's something that is more reflective of like twin flame journeys. The combination, like the literal spiritual energy, kundalini awakening of both masculine and feminine energies to equal that beautiful yin yang. Look at all these circles coming through. Let's finish it. So 8 of Wands, all this firing off, it's usually communication. Part of the message with this card is always to, like, once you hit the button, you can't take it back, right? Like the communication fires off and you can't just take it back, like they're already flying through the air. And I like to look at clouds a lot just for messages and signs. And when I looked out at the clouds today, there was literally what kind of looked like a big flying wand flying through the sky. So that's what I mean. There was something about like, we'll find our love in the sky. I want you to very much look up at the sky for like messages. And also, again, though, some of these wands are like metal and some of them are wood. Some aren't just these like little spirit wands. There's very much this mixture and desire of the real world and the spiritual, of the two energies to come together and mix type deal. That's what's happening. So this final message. I flipped this over and it said, be brave. Be brave. Why? Because this is a Knight of Wands. And Knight of Wands, it's in this card specifically, she's hanging outside the door. Hanging outside the door. You don't know what's happening on the other side of this door either. And she doesn't either. And that's the whole thing is, it's like overhearing, sensing, knowing. about to go in and check it out. And this whole thing, this particular Knight of Wands is number one, a feminine, usually shows up as a masculine. It said, be brave. It's like about to go into the door. There's also that flip there. That's what I mean. There's like a flip-flop of energies where a Knight of Wands is usually a masculine. This is coming in as a feminine. And what's funny too is how her outfit very much looks like this masculine on this horse right here underneath, right? And that's what I mean, is like, is this a man or a woman in this card? Who is it supposed to be? With the way that this energy kind of is, it honestly feels like it's both. Like, and that's the whole thing. It's like both of, okay, whew, thank you, Spirit. The most important thing you need to know right now is both of these energies, the masculine and the feminine, are literally saying the exact same message to each other. And you have to remember that everyone has a masculine, everyone has a feminine. Feminine is inner, masculine is outer. But if you're talking about people, then there's a feminine and a masculine. Either way, the part of you that deals with the real world isn't always looking at everything that's going on within, but everything that's happening within also can't always focus on the real world. Where you might be making victory and progress in the real world, within there's this healing and this communication that needs to happen. And that's where with the Knight of Wands, it's like there's been this kind of hanging back. Knight of Wands and another deck comes up as foxes for me, and that's where that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's that fox energy coming through for me. That's that power energy right there, and that's what I mean. It's like you're sly, you're cunning, you're chill, you hang back, and at the same time you're that fiery energy. You're that fiery energy of the fox that will kind of go in and kind of take care of business and then get out of there type deal. But you always pause and wait before going in as a Knight of Wands, just because of the fact that once that fire energy pops off, then it pops off, right? And that's the reason why this Knight can sometimes be elusive or absent or not there or unreliable. And I keep doing this because that's a lot of descriptions that come through for a Knight of Wands card. And as much as they do apply, sometimes it is for good reason. It is because this person doesn't want to disturb an environment or a person that doesn't want them there, right? They're holding back. They aren't sure if they need to go into this room for maybe all kinds of reasons. Is it their place? Should they do that? Do the people in the room that are having a scuffle even want them to interject themselves? What's the deal? And then there's also just this sense of, and that's in the more pure-hearted way. And then the other sense is like, it doesn't even want me to like talk about that. It's just saying like, that's why this figure is hanging back out of the doorway. Part of it is because they're scared, and that's because they don't know what's on the other side of this door, and they don't know if their help is wanted. They don't know if this healing is needed. They don't know. Look at these two people looking in two totally different places. They don't know. Is what it's saying. They don't know. And what they need to know, who knows? It looks like some healing and communication. It looks like there's some success and some invitations going across both energies here. And some chemistry and some electricity and coming together type stuff. But at the same time, you can't see past this wall. You can't see past this door. This energy doesn't know what's going on, and doesn't know if they are needed or wanted, and therefore is like kind of paying attention, kind of sensing some stuff, but isn't really jumping in because they just don't know. Ooh, something just kind of got in my right ear, and like kind of almost like when the pressure opens up and it kind of pops a little bit. So the main thing you need to know is there's some shape-shifting energy. You can be any of these figures, whether you're a masculine or a feminine watching this. You could be both. You could just be one. There's also a lot of healing energy. So that's where it's kind of take this as it resonates for you guys. What you aren't seeing, the other energy is seeing. What you don't know, the other energy knows. But together, neither one of these have fully like crossed that barrier, and that whole Heroes Gamos like DNA strand, like it said there's a portal. It just gave me like a full message for you guys. It said there's a portal of time and space that is opening where the realms of both earth and sky, or earth and spirit, will, it just said, collide and come together. And that's where both of these energies are like, come here, no, you come here. There is a healing portal kind of happening. And that's why it said, be brave, communicate, there's victory, there's chemistry, but you just can't maybe see it all together because you're kind of like in two different kind of worlds a little bit. Not totally, just kind of is what's happening. But the most important thing is that there is healing and there is chemistry and there is kind of an invitation on both sides. And it kind of feels like both sides want a victory but are a little scared to kind of go through a door and take this opportunity or communicate or do anything because they can't see on the other side. Whew, that was the longest one I got, pile 5. So thank you for being here. That's the message I got for you guys. Let me know how it resonates, and thank you so much. I will see you guys later. Bye.